Yes, sir. Honorable Kumar, Honorable Kumar has moved that the new clause after clause 58, a new clause 59, be titled Approving Private Schools. That is before the Division 2. Do you wish to proceed with the amendments so that then
Sure, sir.
the details of the amendments that you're suggesting, Honorable
Okay.
Kumar?
All right, so the amendment is new clause 59, titled Approving Private Schools. 59.1, the permanent secretary may only approve a private school if the proposed site of the school and its facilities are suitable and adequate for the education of a student. The proposed private school will be in the best interest of the student. Proof of sustainable funding model. The proposed person providing instruction to the student is not prohibited or not likely to be prohibited from carrying out the role under section 164. The school meets any other prescribed requirements. Number 2, a person that intends to set up a private school must apply to the permanent secretary for approval. The application must be in writing and accompanied by the prescribed fee. Number 4, the permanent secretary may impose conditions together with approval of an application, and the applicant must comply with those conditions. And number 5, the permanent secretary may notify the applicant in writing of A, the permanent secretary's decision to approve or refuse application, B, in the case of refusal, the applicant's right to appeal the decision under section 61.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
I second the motion, sir.
Honorable Samate, I second the motion. Do you wish to
Yes.
speak on your amendments?
Thank you, sir. As I started off with the definition of private school, which was not accepted by the members, let me just draw the attention on page 24 of the bill. Page 24 of the bill, part 6, titled Schools. And it says types of schools. And in that type of schools, 1 is government school, 2 government aided school, 3 private school, and number 4 is a home school. So there is no definition of private school at all. And then as we move on to page 26 of the bill, Division 4 is about private school. So you can see how this bill has been drafted. You don't have a definition of private school. You recognize them as 4 types of school, and private school is the 4th type of school. Then as we move down, as we go down with different clauses and different division, then you come across Division 4 as a private school. And as you move forward, you have provision of how you will approve home schools, but there is no provision whatsoever how you will approve private school. So this is the problem with the bill. You recognize 4 types of school, yet you don't want to give a definition to private school. And as we move on, you don't even have a provision as to how you will approve a private school. So for that reason, Chair, I have proposed a new clause 59 as to how a private school should be approved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Floor is open. Honorable Masarong?
Honorable Chair, I may need some backup on this from Honorable Koya, but I'm happy that the Honorable Premier Kumar has raised the reference to proposed Section 38. A school may be, according to the mode of ownership or funding of the school, one of the following types: government school, 2, government aided school, number 3, private school, or, I think there is the or represents a notation that perhaps in the definition of how a school is approved and how a school is closed, wherever you find a reference to closure of home schools or closure of private schools or vice versa, that by definition under, or classification under Section 38, it's meant to operate on the other type of school. The presence of or the Honorable Chair is, to me, an indication that they are to be treated alike and like in both definition and in operation of establishment and closure. There can't be any other explanation as to why or is there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The members are familiar with what the Honorable Minister is talking about? That or means, in the circumstance of this case, it's either one or the other, right? So it cannot be both, because there's no and there to say and. Right. Honorable Kumar, do you wish to contribute
Yes,
to that?
sir. And that is where the error is also there. If you look at page 12 of the bill, it defines homeschool. It says means an arrangement to provide an education to a student at any home or other approved location, not including at a government school, government-aided school, or private school. So it's a very clear cut. They recognize 4 types of school, but unfortunately, we don't have the definition. We don't even have the provision as to how we're going to approve a private school. And private school is very important to be included in the bill. Let's not play politics here. Let's not, your views and my views. It's good for the country if somebody wants to come and invest in a private school. So I'm speaking purely from that angle, that we need to protect our parents as well as our students.
Right. Honorable Samate?
Yes, I think the point that is being made by the Honorable Premila Kumar is a very valid point. You have 4 specifications of different types of schools. For a number of them, the manner in which they can be recognized is specified. And to a large degree, the criteria is almost the same for the different kinds of schools. But if you're going to articulate for one type of school, rather than have a blanket provision that covers all of them, because this is one kind of school, there should be a specific provision for it, or have a blanket criteria that covers all the different types of schools. So if you think about it, it's logical and it's valid, and it needs to be, I would totally endorse what she's suggesting for us to consider.
Are you suggesting, Honorable Kumar, that the definition of homeschool under page 12 is not is quite contrary to the definition of schools in Part 6? Because I read it otherwise.
I was trying to qualify the fact that the bill is talking about 4 types of schools, although it is using the word or. But when you look at the definition of homeschool very clearly talks about, if you read towards the end, it says not including at a government school, government-aided school, or private school. Again, it says 3 other.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because if you say there, then it is it coincides with the provisions of the 88. You either be the private school or homeschool, right? And that homeschool, under the definition of school, does not include government school or private school, right? Okay. So we're reading from same page. Then still, we have to deal with the amendments by the Honorable Kumar, which creates approving private schools as a separate section or clause altogether, clause 59. And after clause 58, to define, approve private schools. And if you wish, I can go over it again, as she had said. No? Right? Honorable Koya?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just to confuse everybody a little bit more, if you move forward, Honorable Chair, sir, there's a Division 4 which says private schools. It actually spells out that a controlling authority of a private school has control of the private school. Controlling authority of a private school must appoint a manager and then permanent secretary, etc., all that kind of stuff. Now, sir, I'm not sure where the resistance is coming from, because this is neither political, no any party thing involved in it. It's just being sensible, sir. It's being sensible because the category that's been created, let me just move forward a little bit to the budget, and Fiji as a destination, and Fiji as an education destination, as a tourism education destination. Tomorrow, if the Minister of Finance, on the insistence of the Minister for Tourism, says we need to open up to create more schools here, private schools that people will come and pay, they are devoid of everything that comes within this act with respect to schools except for registration. So they run, if the Minister says we're going to allow tax-free schools here, private institutions to have schools here, suddenly we've boosted the tourism industry and we've got a whole lot of students coming from Japan, from England, from Australia, from whatever, coming to do school here. The curriculum is elsewhere outside the ambit of this particular act. So in terms of definitions, etc., it does need what Honorable Pramila Kumar is actually referring to. And I don't think it's offensive in any part, and it shouldn't really show any resistance, because we're just creating another avenue for the betterment of Fiji and our economic situation generally. Because I can tell you this much, sir, educational tourism is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and I'm sure the Minister of Tourism will actually tell you that. I'm looking from that perspective. If we create the category, we define it properly, that is an avenue for us to use with respect to our economic playing field. And it will require a definition if we don't get it right. Just the very same way we're asking universities to get registered if they want to become universities, same thing applies. So defining this and putting it in, maybe you can tweak it a little bit, whatever it is, it makes sense. It really does. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Koya. Are there any more contributions? Right. It's the worst case scenario, if I'm just using my other head, is as Honorable Koya is saying, that everything does come apart when this is enacted. Then the amendments, you can always go back and amend the provision. That's the worst case scenario I'm talking about, right? So what we do is proceed with a vote on the suggested amendments to include a new clause 59 by Honorable Pramila Kumar, which he had already read out, quite detailed, in fact, for private schools. Unfortunately, the definition, as we started in this beginning here, was not approved, so that would not help this cause. altogether, as you understand. So that is the honorable members. We will put the Honorable Kumar's amendments to a vote. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The nays have it. We will now proceed to vote. We will now proceed to vote on part 7. The question is that part 7 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 8.
The floor is now open for comments on part 8. The Parliament will now vote on part 8. The question is that part 8 stands part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Part 9. Honorable Secretary General.
Part 9.
Secretary. Honorable colleague, yeah. Right. Secretary General.
Part 9.
The floor is now open for comments on part 9. Well, the Parliament will now vote on part 9. The question is that part 9 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no one opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 10.
No, floor is open, no comments on part 10. The Parliament will now vote on part 10. The question is that part 10 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 11.
Honorable Premier Kumar.
On page 37, right, page 37, part 11, I move that clause 75(3) be amended to insert a new C which states a government school or government-aided school must not force, compel, or coax, intimidate, or apply pressure to parents or students to pay school levies.
Thank you, Honorable Kumar. Is there a seconder?
Second. Chair.
Honorable Usamate. Second, I repeat the amendments as suggested by Honorable Kumar at page 37. Page 37, new clause 75, is it? Clause 75, 3C, page 37. A new sub C is added, and it will read a government school or government-aided school must not force, compel, or coerce, intimidate, or apply pressure to parents or students to pay school levies. That should be 3C of clause 75. Are there any, Honorable Kumar, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'm proposing this amendment in the spirit of free education. We want to protect most vulnerable families who may not be in a position to pay school levies. And we do not want to go back to the olden days when students could not pay school fees or school levies, they were sent home. They were simply asked to go home and get the money before you enter. So for that protection, just like how on page 37, under fundraising, there is clause 77, number 2. Clause 77, number 2 gives protection to the parents and students and the teachers. If they don't want to be part of fundraising, they don't have to be. So similarly, that protection needs to be given to the most vulnerable families. If they're not able to pay the school levies, they should not be forced, intimidated, etc. So in other words, we're just trying to protect the vulnerable families. Those who can, they can pay. But those who can't, they should not be, same rule should not apply across the board. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any contribution from the floor? All right, so we'll move ahead and vote. Vote on the clause, on the amendment suggested by the Honorable Pramila Kumar. That is the new clause 75(3) by inserting a new C. New C can, 3 says the permanent secretary may ensure that the amount of levy to be charged is reasonable and equitable, and B, not excessive or burdensome to any parent. And the amendment as suggested by Honorable Pramila Kumar is C, a government school or government-aided school must not force, compel or coerce, intimidate or apply pressure to parents or students to pay school levies. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The nay have it. Parliament will then vote on Part 11. The question is that Part 11 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 12.
No, the floor is open for comments on Part 12. So the Parliament will proceed and vote on Part 12. The question is that Part 12 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 13.
The floor is now open for comments on Part 13. One. Honorable Pramila Kumar, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. I'll withdraw that one.
Draw.
This is made.
Right, the amendments, there's no further amendments? Honorable Usamate?
Thank you, sir. On page 53, on the clause 129C, I move that 129C be replaced with the following: establish, continually update, and ensure compliance with national standards embedded in the Fiji qualifications framework. We left a second.
Thank you, Honorable Usamate. The amendment that is being proposed by Honorable Usamate that clause 129C at page 53 be amended by replacing the present C, existing C, with the following. Establish, continually update and ensure compliance with national standards embedded in the Fiji qualifications framework. Is there a seconder?
I second the motion.
Honorable Kumar, seconder. Yeah, thank you. So instead of establish national standards for different qualifications, that is replaced by the suggested amendment by Honorable Usamate. The floor is open. Any comments? Honorable Usamate, please elaborate.
Thank you, sir. One of the important things that was developed by the various industry bodies in Fiji was to develop Fiji qualifications. Qualifications that are focused on the things that we need in this, in our country. Earlier today, the Minister for Education was talking about tracing the graduates that are supported by TSLS. And we noticed that only 47% of them they could trace as being employed. The other 53% they could not trace. I'm not saying anything, I'm just building up to what I'm trying to say here. So I think when the qualifications framework was set up, they were set up by industry bodies, like the welders, they would do the qualifications for welding. When you talk about carpenters, people they did that, they set those qualifications. So they define what a certificate 1, certificate 2, certificate 3, certificate 4, certificate 5, diploma, and so forth in carpenting means when they look at the way industries do their jobs in Fiji. Now you're seeing what we're happening now, we're getting a lot of graduates not getting into jobs. One of the things that I'm thinking in my mind, maybe it's because the way the qualifications are defined is not benchmarked to what is required in the country. A Fiji qualifications framework was set up basically to do that. And you have standard setting councils under the Fiji Higher Education Commission, and it's also their job to make sure that those standards are up to date. One of the things that I wanted to do here is to peg, because one of the other problems that you have with higher education institutes, they all want to make money by doing a lot of degrees and so forth and sell it, for which there's no real need. You need to be able to match up where you're sending your money in terms of funding education to where the need is. Now, if you look at the instance for the skills gap analysis that was done by FCEF, Fiji Human Resource Institute, Higher Education Commission of Fiji, and the Fiji Bureau of Stats, it found that there has been an 11% growth in Fiji's labor force, but a 79% growth in foreign workers and high unemployment in our youth. So there is a mismatch somewhere. So to my mind, I've been thinking about it, the setting of standards for qualifications in the Fiji qualifications framework basically says you set these qualifications, things that are needed in this market. And then if people provide those programs and we provide scholarships for those programs, it means that we are addressing the needs in our market. You see, for instance, in Fiji now, the big problem is skilled workers, people who can do. A lot of our people now come to education institutes, they can pass the exam, but they cannot do. They cannot do it, but they pass the exams. So there is a problem in the way the qualifications have been, the minimum qualification requirements for qualifications established. And I believe that the Fiji qualifications, a lot of work has been done over the years. It needs to be updated. And for us to make sure that all the training programs being done in higher education institutes is targeting things that are needed, they need to be related to that Fiji qualifications framework. Now you can see in relation to this, there are other kinds of things that need to be done around this. And this is the whole issue of, for those of you in the training field, you know about competency-based assessment, the recognition of current competence. Some people don't have the paper, but they know how to do it. Now, building in all of those kinds of frameworks. So for me, I think this is very critical. If you're going to have a body like the Higher Education Commission Fiji giving out money for particular programs, you have to make sure it meets a real need in the country. And I believe that that should be reflected in the Fiji qualifications framework, and that's why I'm pushing. This is the only amendment that I'm pushing, because this is the one that I think is very critical, to make sure that government incentivizes and spends money on programs that directly impact on the kind of skills that people need. The thing about the stats that I said, 11% growth in Fiji labor force, 79% in foreign workers, and high level of youth unemployment. There's something wrong there. Maybe we're throwing money at the wrong places. So that's why I'm making this suggestion, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Sarongo? Thank you.
Chair, Honorable Chair, thank you very much. I needed to take this opportunity because I think the Honorable Usmate has failed to read the entirety of the section. Everything that he said is perhaps not, and certainly is not in paragraph C, but it's from paragraph to K. A to K is everything that he said in the last 5 to 10 minutes. So it's covered, and we need to go to a vote. Proposing we go to a vote.
All right, thank you, Honorable Minister. Are there any further contribution? No?
K does not address what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about the absolute mismatch. And I tell you, because I've worked in institutions, you know, people like to do accounting degrees because it's easy to do, it's easy to get a piece of paper, but it is not the need. It is not the need. So we need to have a system of doing programs and qualifications that reflect the need. The Fiji qualifications framework, this word needs to go in there, because these are industry people setting what the requirements are. It's not some academic. You can do academics who can tell you how to pass an exam, but they cannot do it. So I believe that the term Fiji qualifications framework and all that it encompasses, which is understood by the Fiji Education Commission Fiji, needs to be embedded there, so you make sure the qualifications are in tune with Fiji's needs. That's my point.
Thank you, Honorable Usamati. Can I just make a clarification? Is there such thing as Fiji qualifications framework? They exist, Fiji.
Under the Higher Education Commission of Fiji.
We will proceed to a vote on Honorable Usamate's amendment or suggested amendment to clause C. In the place of present establish national standards for different qualifications, he is suggesting establish, continually update, and ensure compliance with national standards embedded in the Fiji qualifications framework. Put it to the vote. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The nay have it. Parliament will now vote on part 13. The question, give you a minute. The question is that part 13 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, part 13 is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 14.
Part 14. Right. Part 14, the floor is open for comments on part 14. No member is contributing to part 14 of the Parliament will now vote on it. The question is that part 14 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, part 14 is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General,
Part 15.
part 15, the floor is open to comments on part 15. Parliament will vote on part 15. The question is that part 15 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, part 15 is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 16.
Part 16, the floor is open for comments on part 16. Miscellaneous. Honorable Pramila Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Part 16, page 65. Page 65, clause number 1531. 1531. I move that clause 173(1) be amended by inserting the following after home schools. It's a new inclusion. Prescribing the procedures, requirements, and other matters related to private schools. It's on page 65. And there is one more amendment, still on 173, but this is 173(3). And I move that 173(3) be amended to include a new B, and the new B should read procedures and requirements for professional development for the professional development of teachers. So these are the two amendments, sir.
Thank you. Is there any seconder?
Second, sir.
Honorable Samate, second. The amendments, suggested amendments from the Honorable Pramila Kumar, that clause 173 be amended by inserting the following. Prescribing, where would you suggest, Honorable Kumar, where it should fit?
This is on
One-
page 65, after Q.
Yep. Right.
After Q.
NOPQ, after Q on page 65. Prescribing the procedures, the requirements, and other matters relating to private schools. Right. That's, Q. Sub Q. And the other amendment is a new B on 173(3) on the same page, over the page, page 65. So instead, let me get this right, Honorable Kumar, you would have a new B in the place of the old B,
Inserting a new B, sir.
a new B. The new B will read to set procedures, requests
Requirements.
for professional development of teachers, right? And the old B goes away?
There is, so we just have to change the numbers.
Right, so it
Yeah.
becomes C. Right. So those are the two amendments, honorable members. Are there any? Sorry. Honorable Tuswau, yes. Yes, yes, Chair. Right.
Honorable Chairman. No, that's, it's nothing to do with the types of schools. the First Amendment. It's more.
Would you, yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I've just heard what Honorable Tuisawao has said. There's nothing to do with the private school. If you had gone through the bill, there is reference made to private school. There are 4 types of schools which you all have accepted. It's in the bill. It also talks about how the private schools will be run by having a school manager and whoever. So it doesn't mean my amendment is not in line with private school. I've just showed you how to change a bill starting from definition to inclusion of different parts so that the whole private school conversation ends, and it ends with regulations. So that's the provision that I have made. And by having regulations, Chair, it will simply provide the nitty-gritty as to how the private schools will be run. Besides that, my other amendment is to set procedures and requirements for professional development. Again, on page 44, clause 103B makes reference to professional development. Now, professional development is part of a continuous improvement in knowledge and skills as the world evolves. And student expectation, parents' expectation, and employers' expectation change. It is important to develop regulations on professional development to make teaching profession fit for purpose as we go along. So it is for this reason, Chair, I have included those 2 amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are there any further contribution to the amendments, Honorable Usumati?
Yeah, I think the suggestions made by Honorable Pramila Kumar make absolute sense. Because all throughout this bill, for instance, all throughout this bill, it talks about private schools. We have decided not to include the definitions and so forth, but somewhere, you need to be able to make regulations on how private schools will be run. So if you're not going to put it into the mother legislation, you've got to find a place to put it here. So including this thing for making the provision to make regulations for private schools makes absolute sense because private schools is mentioned in the legislation. Absolute sense. That's why I fully support it.
Thank you, honorable members. We will now move to vote on the amendments as submitted by Honorable Pramila Kumar. There are 2 amendments on 173.1 and 173.3. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those who oppose, say nay. Nay. The nays have it. We'll proceed. Secretary General. The Parliament will now vote on Part 16. The question is that Part 16 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, then Part 16 is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Schedule.
The floor is now open for comments on the schedule. The Parliament will now vote on the schedule. The question is that the schedule stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No member opposes. The schedule is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of the Committee of the Whole Parliament. Parliament will now resume its sitting and I shall resume the chair. Secretary General.
The Committee of the Whole Parliament has agreed to a bill for an act to give effect to the constitutional right to education and for related matters, Bill number 34 of 2025.
Honourable members, we will now proceed to the third reading of the Education Bill 2025, Bill number 34 of 2025. I now call on the Minister of Education, the Honourable Asheri Randrondo, to move the third reading of the Education Bill.
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 88, I move that the Education Bill 2025, Bill number 34 of 2025, be read a third time and do pass.
Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Thank you, Honourable Tusoau. I now call on the Honourable Minister for Education to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise today in my capacity as the Minister for Education to speak in strong support of the Education Bill 2025, which will modernize the education system by improving access, improving quality, and equity for all learners. We understand the debate. We take note of the comments that have been made. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Education Bill represents the most comprehensive reform of Fiji's education system since the Education Act 1966. It responds directly to the national vision articulated in the Denarau Declaration and reflects the voices of Fijians across all divisions. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is a product of extensive nationwide consultation by both the Ministry of Education and the Standing Committee for Justice, Law, and Human Rights. While the Ministry focused on our 9 school districts, the Standing Committee took the consultation route a step further by taking the Education Bill to more rural, more remote, maritime areas all over Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the current Education Act of 1966 is only 33 sections long, and the Education Bill of 2025 is more than 5 times that size with 175 clauses designed to address every facet of modern learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill gives full effect to the constitutional right to education. It establishes a comprehensive system that covers early childhood, primary, secondary, technical and vocational education, and higher education, ensuring that no Fijian is left behind at any stage of learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, importantly, this bill strengthens institutions that will drive quality and accountability. The creation of the Education Advisory Council ensures broader stakeholder input into policy, while the National Curriculum and Assessment Authority will guide curriculum standards, research, and assessment. These are critical for raising the quality and the relevance of education in Fiji. The bill also reinforces the professionalism in teaching by establishing and strengthening the bill the Fiji Teachers Registration Authority, and ensures that teachers meet proper standards and are supported in their development and are held to clear ethical expectations. This is essential, Mr. Speaker, sir, for improving learning outcomes across the country. This legislation also promotes inclusion. It makes provision for special and inclusive education and recognizes the need of mature students and expands access across all levels of education. It reflects our commitment to equity and lifelong learning for all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also wish to highlight the strong emphasis on student welfare. The Education Bill requires counseling services in schools, promotes safe learning environment, and aligns with constitutional protections for children. These measures ensure that our schools are not only places of learning, but also places of care and support. Another key strength of this bill is its commitment to transparency and accountability. It introduces clear rules on school governance, financial management, audits, and reporting. This will build greater public confidence in how schools are managed and funded. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Standing Committee's work also stands out. It undertook a wide public consultation, engaged stakeholders, and carefully considered all submissions. The ultimate result is a bill that reflects the voices of our people and balances reform with practical realities. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill ensures alignment with national priorities, our international commitments such as the Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 4, making education system more responsive and equipped to meet future challenges. With these words, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Education Bill 2025 is a critical necessity for the operational function of the Ministry of Education. It establishes clear legislative authority, and we need to ensure equitable, quality education for every student across our nation. This forward-looking, comprehensive legislation strengthens our educational institution, expands our access, and elevates our standards. Mr. Speaker, sir, I fully support the motion, and I warmly urge every member of this august House to vote in absolute support of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank the Honourable Rendondo, the Minister for Education. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. Each speaker may speak up to 20 minutes, but be reminded that under Standing Order 88, Clause 2, that any debate must be confined to the question of whether the bill should pass, not the content. So the floor is now open. There is none. Honourable Usamate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think the development of the bill has been a great exercise, sir, and the participation of the members of the committee and the staff of the ministry, who I can see are sitting at the back there, have been giving advice all along. The question of the usefulness of the bill is not in question. Most of the things that are there, virtually almost 100% of it is good. It is a pity that we could not set aside our political things and listen to some of the observations that were coming from this end. I think if we've been able to do that, we'd have to been able to make it better than what we'll be agreeing today. So we agree in general, sir, but we might be voting no because there are certain provisions. If we had put it in, it would have become 100%. This one is still 95.5%, and the people from
You almost touched on the contents there. Honourable Maharaj, I recognize.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I'd like to take this time to thank the drafters of the bill and the agency that came up with this education reform bill. Indeed, it was a comprehensive work that has been carried out. I'd like to thank all the staff of the ministry, Minister, as well as the standing committee. They have done a marvelous job in scrutinizing and bringing all the amendments that has been brought to the amended bill that is before us. Only thing, Honorable Speaker, that I would say is education was free in this country all this while. Bringing in levies is not that something that we would have actually wanted, but unfortunately it's part of the bill, Honorable Speaker, something that we should have actually gotten rid of because it will be something that will burden our parents and students as well. So for that particular reason, on one side, while we support the reform, but putting levies and extra burden on the parents is not welcome, Honorable Speaker. That's all I want to say. Vinaka.
Thank you, Honorable Maharaj. See no other volunteers to speak. I will now move to the vote. I'm sorry. Go back to the page. I will call on the Honorable Minister to exercise his right of reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I know it's late into the night. And I'd just like to thank the honorable members on the other side for a very lively interjections that they put through into the bills. But we take into consideration every issues that you highlighted. Some of them are there, especially the definition of a private school. It is there. And you should know, honorable member, as private schools, these are owned by controlling authorities, faith-based organizations, and management schools. The only difference maybe you're looking at is probably those that have been funded by government and those that have been not funded by government. But thank you very much for the support, Mr. Speaker, sir. And we hope that we can all move together in making sure that this bill works. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote. The question is pursuant to Standing Order 88, that the Education Bill 2025, Bill number 34 of 2025, be read a third time and do pass. Does any member oppose the motion? There being opposition, the Parliament will now vote. Open the vote. Close the vote.
The results of the vote are as follows: 38 ayes, 14 noes, and 3 have not voted.
"38 ayes, 14 noes, 3 did not vote. Bill is adopted by a majority of votes, 38 to 14. Secretary General.
A bill for an act to give effect to the constitutional right to education and for related matters, Bill number 34 of 2025, enacted by the Parliament of the Republic of Fiji.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next item, the Secretary General.
Motions for which notice has been given.
Honorable members, we have three standing committee reports for our debate this evening. Without further ado, I now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honorable Elias Wanawalu, to move his first motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that Parliament debates the review report 2020 Fiji Public Trustees Corporation PT Limited Annual Report, which was tabled on the 28th of April 2026.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable Viampile. I now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji Public Trustees Corporation PT Limited was capitalized in April 2006, transforming into a public enterprises to other professional estates, will and trust service to the Fijian. A significant shift occurs in 2006 when the office was corporatized into Fiji Public Trustees Corporation, PTE Limited, aiming to modernize service delivery and become a more efficient public enterprise. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee in its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the FPTCL must continue to provide beneficiaries with its mandated services and create more nationwide awareness. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the FPTCL must continue to invest in sustainable and profitable business. Third, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that there should be more efficient dispute resolution system by FPTCL in consultation with legal entities like registers of title and Office of Registrar General. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the FPTCL must review the Fiji Public Service Act 2006 to align and address the current challenges it faces. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that urgent need to strengthening coordination between FPTCL and the Ministry of Justice to improve the timely transfer of documents and titles. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee concludes that FPTCL is providing its mandatory service by serving the beneficiaries to ensure their financial sustainability and further contribute towards national development. The committee trusts that the recommendation outlined will support FPTCL in achieving its strategic objective and enhancing its service towards its beneficiaries. On that note, I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Chairperson. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me. Each speaker has 5 minutes to deliver his or her contribution. I first call on the Honourable Viampile.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise today to speak on the review report of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs on the 2020 Fiji Public Trustee Corporation PT Limited Annual Report. As a member of the committee who participated in our deliberations, I want to begin by thanking our chairperson and all the committee members for their hard work. Also want to thank the Chief Executive Officer and the 30 dedicated staff members of the corporation. They manage an immense workload, looking after an estate value of $51 million and saving over 11,000 beneficiaries across our nation. They do all of this without receiving a single dollar in financial grants from government. Honorable Speaker, these workers deserve our true appreciation for keeping this organization afloat under very difficult financial conditions. But Honorable Speaker, we must look closely at the serious operational challenges hidden in this report. Honorable Speaker, we see the same painful issues over and over again in our communities regarding property transfers after death. This is where the delays truly hurt ordinary people. Thousands of families across Fiji need their services during their most difficult moments. When a loved one passes away, the family is already grieving. Instead of finding smooth relief, they get trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare, just trying to transfer land, titles, or clear properties. When the system works well, it provides immediate security and peace of mind to a grieving family. That is the positive side we want to see. But when it fails, properties are left in limbo for years, family members end up in bitter disputes, and assets are wasted while waiting for a simple title transfer or a delayed will search. This report is a loud warning to this Parliament. Honourable Speaker says the corporation is facing a massive financial crisis because its core revenue from the Fiji National Provident Fund Minor Trust is completely depleting. The funds are running out because of legislative changes, and very soon this business will be completely gone. We cannot fix a 20-year-old problem with slow discussions or political arguments. We must act immediately to upgrade their outdated records management system. We need to address the urgent need for equipment, proper institutional development, team training, and thirdly, testing everything before implementation. Without these essential tools, we are failing our citizens. Honourable Speaker, I support the recommendations of this report because our ordinary Fijians deserve better. We cannot afford to let down the thousands of beneficiaries who rely on this institution for their livelihood and peace of mind. Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank the Honourable Pillay. I call next on the Minister for Justice and the Acting Attorney, Honourable Turanga.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the debate on the review report on the 2020 annual report of Fiji Public Trustee Corporation, PT Limited. At the outset, Mr. Speaker, sir, I acknowledge the work of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, conducting review and site visit, and for the recommendations that have been put forward to strengthen the operations of the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation. I also commend the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation for the important work it continues to undertake in serving the people of Fiji. The committee's findings clearly demonstrate the important role that the organization plays in protecting the interests of beneficiaries, vulnerable persons, and families throughout Fiji. The report notes that during the review period, the corporation managed estate values of about 51 million, registered 4,547 wills, and administered 1,897 deceased estates for more than 11,000 beneficiaries. These figures reflect the scale and significance of the corporation's responsibility within Fiji's justice and state administration framework. The committee also acknowledged the corporation's efforts in providing estate planning, legal services, and trust administration, and estate management services throughout Fiji. These services are critical in ensuring families are supported during difficult times and that beneficiaries' interests are protected through proper legal and administrative processes. Honourable Speaker, sir, I wish to also highlight that the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation operates as a self-funded statutory organization and does not receive government grants or direct funding support. Despite operating independently, the corporation has continued to remain financially sustainable and has contributed over 5.6 million in dividends to governments to date. This is a significant achievement and reflects prudent management and operational resilience. I further note that the corporation currently administers over 1,265 estates and 6,908 trust funds with a combined portfolio value of about 94.5 million, while also safeguarding more than 5,300 wills entrusted to its care. These responsibilities, Mr. Speaker, sir, continue to expand as public awareness and demand for trustees and estate services increase throughout the country. I acknowledge the committee's recommendation regarding the urgent need to strengthen the coordination between the organization and the Ministry of Justice to improve the timely transfer of documents and titles. I wish to inform this August House that ongoing engagements and consultations have already taken place between the Ministry of Justice, the Registrar of Titles, and the Registrar General's Office, and the organization to address operational delays affecting estate administration processes. These discussions have focused on improving turnaround time for probate matters, title searches, transfer documentation, and inter-agency coordinations. Meetings were held throughout 2005 and this year to address these operational issues and strengthen collaboration between agencies involved in estate administration and legal processes. One of the major challenges identified by both the committee and the organization relates to the delays in probate processes, title processing, and beneficiary disputes. These are often complex matters involving multiple family members, legal requirements, and lead administration procedures. The Ministry recognizes these challenges and will continue to work closely with all relevant stakeholders to improve efficiency, service delivery outcomes for the people of Fiji. Also note the public's recommendation regarding the review of the Public Trustee Corporation Act 2006. I wish to inform this August House that the corporation has already commenced initial consultations and preparatory work towards reviewing the Act and Fees and Charges Regulation 2008. Staff consultations have already been undertaken, and the Ministry, together with the SG's office, will continue to support the legislative review process to ensure the legal framework remains modern, effective, aligned with current operational requirements. Honourable Speaker, I also commend the organization for its continued investment in digital transformation and operational modernization. The implementation of the five-hole document management system and the recently completed Trust Administration Core accounting system has significantly improved records management, operational efficiency, and safeguarding of sensitive beneficiary information. These investments strengthen governance, improve transparency, ensure continuity of services, particularly during emergencies and natural disasters. Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Justice fully supports the continued collaboration with the organization to strengthen governance, improve operational coordination, and enhance access to trustee and estate administration service for all Fijians. I commend the Standing Committee on Social Affairs for its comprehensive review and recommendations, acknowledge the ongoing efforts to the Public Trustee Corporation in serving beneficiaries and families throughout Fiji. With those remarks, Honourable Speaker, I support the motion before the House.
Thanks, the Minister of Justice, Tingasoni. Honourable Pramila Kumar, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the Social Affairs Committee for this report. The most important issue emerging is the serious lack of public awareness about the role and services of the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation Limited. Many ordinary Fijians still do not fully understand the importance of making a will, nor do they fully appreciate the protective role that the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation can play in their lives. Mr. Speaker, sir, for many families, making a will is still perceived as something only for the wealthy, something to be considered later in life, or a service available only through private lawyers at high cost. As a result, many Fijians delay making wills altogether, or without understanding the repercussions, they transfer their home, land, savings, and other assets to children or relatives out of love, trust, emotional pressure, or even coercion. We are increasingly hearing painful stories of elderly parents who, after transferring their assets, later face neglect, financial hardship, or abuse by their own family members. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is becoming a serious social challenge in Fiji, resulting in family conflicts and increasing financial insecurity among retirees and vulnerable citizens. We must ask, why is the Fiji Public Trustee not being recognized and promoted as an essential state institution for social protection? Why is it that many Fijians are still not aware that the Public Trustee Corporation can assist them in preparing wills, safely storing those wills, and supporting families after a loved one passes away, and protecting vulnerable people from disputes, exploitation, and unnecessary hardship? Mr. Speaker, say institutions like Fiji Public Trustee should not be viewed merely as an administrative office dealing with estates. They are part of a social safety net of this country. Just as we recognize the importance of FNPF in protecting retirement income, we must also recognize the importance of Fiji Public Trustee in protecting family assets, dignity, and the wishes of vulnerable citizens after death. There is an urgent need for stronger public education and outreach, not only by the Fiji Public Trustee, but also by the Ministry of Women, Children, and Social Protection, and other ministries and NGOs. If the government is serious about protecting vulnerable citizens, retirees, widows, children, and persons living in rural and maritime communities, then the Fiji Public Trustee must be strengthened, modernized, and treated as an important public service institution, not simply another state-owned entity struggling to survive on limited resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite limited resources and without direct government grant, Fiji Public Trustee continues to manage more than 11,000 beneficiaries and tens of millions of dollars in estate assets. That reflects commitment and resilience, but resilience alone cannot sustain an institution carrying such an important social responsibility. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the biggest challenges families face after the death of a loved one is simply finding out whether a will exists. Why should grieving families have to move between the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation, the courts, and the Registrar of Title just to trace documents and assets? For many ordinary Fijians, especially in rural and maritime areas, this process is costly and stressful. Mr. Speaker, sir, what we need is a single integrated digital will registry and online will-making services as one-stop shop, so that Fijians can access these services more easily, quickly, and cost-effectively. The report also highlights disputes between beneficiaries, where one uncooperative person can delay the whole estate settlement. And this issue needs to be addressed when the Act is being reviewed. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also note concerns about the long-term financial sustainability of Fiji Public Trustee, particularly after the loss of FNPF-related trust businesses. Government cannot continue expecting this institution to provide essential social services while its revenue base is decreasing. A clear 5-year sustainability and modernization plan should be developed by the board, including the expansion into new services and revenue streams. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji Public Trustee is an essential institution for Fiji, but if we fail to modernize its system and fail to support it financially, then the vulnerable Fijians will be left without a guardian, their assets mismanaged or lost, and their rights undefended when they need protection most. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honorable Pramila Kumar. Last speaker is Honorable Sachin Anand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the debate on the 2020 Fiji Public Trustee Corporation Limited Annual Report. At the outset, I commend the board, management, and staff of Fiji Public Trustee Corporation Limited for their dedication, resilience during one of the most difficult periods in our nation's history. The year 2020 was a year overshadowed by COVID-19 pandemic, economic uncertainties, lockdowns, and social hardship. Yet, despite these challenges, the corporation continued to provide critical trustee, state, and legal services to the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the corporation plays a very important role in safeguarding the interests of ordinary Fijians. Its core responsibility is to provide state planning, administrative services, trust services, and legal services in accordance with the Fiji Public Trustee Corporation Act 2006. These are not merely administrative functions, Mr. Speaker, sir. They involve protecting families, ensuring transparency in management of states, assisting vulnerable beneficiaries, and providing legal certainty for future generations. These responsibilities are closely linked to fairness, accountability, and access to justice. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most commendable aspects of this report is the corporation's continued commitment to service delivery despite the difficult economic environment. During 2020, the corporation accepted 45 new states valued at 10.8 million compared to 33 states valued at 7.8 million in 2019. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, the corporation administered 701 trusts and managed over 1,800 deceased states, benefiting more than 11,000 beneficiaries throughout Fiji. These figures clearly demonstrate, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the growing importance of the service provided by Fiji Public Trustee Corporation. It reflects the confidence that Fijians continue to place in this institution. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to acknowledge the corporation's effort in improving accessibility and inclusiveness. The report highlights that more than 10,000 fees and charges were waived for elderly clients under its non-commercial obligation services. This is an important reminder that public enterprises are not solely profit-driven institutions. They also carry social responsibilities to ensure that vulnerable members of our communities are not left behind. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to note that the corporation continued to innovate and adapt during the pandemic. Despite restrictions and disruptions, 4 new services were introduced in 2020: Family Trust, Charitable Trust, Prepaid Funeral Trust, and Power of Attorney. These initiatives show corporation's willingness to modernize its service offering and respond to the evolving needs of Fijians. In today's environment, Mr. Speaker, sir, state planning and trust administration are becoming increasingly important as families seek financial security and legal protection for their assets and loved ones. Mr. Speaker, sir, another significant achievement of the corporation is securing its first conservation trust involving the administration of 512-acre freehold property containing indigenous plants and animal species. This demonstrates that trustee services is not only relevant to individuals or families, but also to environment protection and sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, sir, while acknowledging these positive achievements, it's also important that we honestly reflect on the challenges identified in the report. The corporation recorded an operating loss of 72,000 in 2020, compared to an operating profit of 652,000 in 2019. However, this decline must be viewed within the context of the global pandemic, which negatively affected investment and financial markets. Despite this, the corporation maintained a strong balance sheet and a sound cash flow of over 574,000. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe there is still room for broader public legal education in this area. We must continue encouraging Fijians to prepare wills, understand their legal rights, and protect interests of their families and children. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to commend the corporation for embracing technology and digital transformation during pandemic. The report outlines the use of online services, virtual meetings, social engagements, and document management systems ensure continuity of operation. The adaptability helped maintain services even during lockdowns and more movement restriction. Their professionalism and commitment to ensure that Fijians continue to receive critical services during uncertain times. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji Public Service Corporation Limited remains an important institution in protecting legal, financial, and social interests of people. The 2020 annual report demonstrates resilience, innovation, and commitment to public service despite extraordinary challenges. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, sir, I commend the report to Parliament. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sachinanand. I will now invite the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs to speak in reply, Honorable Nawalu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The committee noted the positive contribution made by honorable members during the debate on the review report of 2020 Fiji Public Trustees Corporation PTA Limited Annual Report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, the Chief Executive Officer, and the staff of Fiji Public Trustees Corporation Limited for their usual commitments, dedication, support provided to the beneficiaries. On that note, sir, I commend this motion before the House. Thank you, sir.
Thank the Chair of the Standing Committee. Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. I now call on the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, Honorable Ilyas Abanawal, to move his second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that Parliament debates the review report on the 2024 Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji's annual report, which was tabled on the 28th of April, 2026.
Yes, seconder.
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable Pillay. I now invite the Chairperson of the Standing Committee to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji is a statutory body established by the CAF Act of 1979. Apart from providing regulatory oversight for domestic civil aviation and fulfilling international air safety obligations, It is also owned and managed the Nadi International Airport, Nosuri Airport, and 22 small domestic airports all around Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the reorganization of CAF facilitated by the Civil Aviation Reform Act in 1999 separated the CAF's regulatory role from its commercial operation, while the commercial responsibilities and assets were transferred to the Airport Fiji Limited. Mr. Speaker, sir, the CAF oversees the activities of airport operators, air traffic control, and air navigation service provider, aircraft operators, managing the housing estate, and other properties. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee in its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that CAF must maintain its safety standard of obligation under ICAO. Secondly, the committee recommends that the CAF must continue to engage with government as to show how they can increase its shares of departure tax. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that CAF must liaise with relevant stakeholders to fast-track its legislative changes and ensure that it is aligned with ICAO standards and modern regulatory best practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that CAF must review its remuneration package to attract more qualified staff to work in the aviation industry. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that CAF must monitor all unregistered aerodromes in Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee concludes that the overall performance of CAF demonstrates its sound governance and proactive responses to ICAO findings and align with national aviation priorities. The committee trusts that the recommendation outlined will support CAF in achieving its strategic objective and improving its ability to meet statutory and international obligations. On that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank the Honorable Nawal. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate. On the motion, I have a list of speakers. Each speaker has 5 minutes for his or her contribution. I call first on the Honorable Biampile.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to take this time to thank you for allowing me to speak today on the review report of the 2024 Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji Annual Report. As a member of the Standing Committee, it is an honor to present our findings and contribute to the discussion on this important report. I want to thank our chairperson and our fellow committee members for their dedication during this review. We must highly praise the Chief Executive Officer and the dedicated staff of the authority. The authority achieved a clean audit opinion, showing great transparency and successfully maintained an international safety rating of 76% under the Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program. The report also highlights the opening of the new International Civil Aviation Organization office in Fiji as a major milestone that positions Fiji as a regional hub. Honorable Speaker said these achievements deserve our true appreciation. Honorable Speaker said while we celebrate these successes, the report also outlines serious funding and operational challenges. The committee noted the shifting of financial structures for this vital authority, including its reliance on a $5 share from the passenger departure tax. Managing a national budget comes with major challenges, and we all understand that government funds must be balanced across many competing sectors. This is not about picking a political fight or looking backward. It is about working together to ensure our aviation infrastructure remains strong and sustainable. So we must focus entirely on the practical solutions needed today. The report details the exact operational realities on the ground. The authority currently certifies 22 aerodromes nationwide, with 15 managed by government and 7 privately operated facilities. However, our committee identified a major safety risk regarding completely unregistered aerodromes that require closer and continuous monitoring. Furthermore, the authority is facing a severe technical brain drain and critical staffing challenges because current remuneration packages are completely uncompetitive against overseas market. Our local talent is leaving. In addition, the report highlights that land acquired by the authority in Wailualoa for major development remains paralyzed because it is partly occupied by tenants and stuck before the courts. To resolve these blockages, the report provides clear practical recommendations. We need faster progress on consolidating our aviation legislation into single modern framework aligned with international standards. We also recommend further engagements with the government to explore increasing the authority's share of departure tax to secure stable funding. We need to focus on the basics of addressing the urgent need for equipment, proper institutional development, extensive team training, and thoroughly testing everything before implementation. Without these essential tools, we cannot maintain our high safety standards. Honorable Speaker, I fully support the recommendations of this report because our citizens deserve a safe and reliable aviation network. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Pillay. I call on the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Ngaboka.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Prime Minister, honorable members of Parliament, I rise to contribute to the debate on the review report on the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji's CAF 2024 annual report, which was tabled in this Honorable House on 20th April 2006. Mr. Speaker, sir, the review report provides an important assessment of the performance of the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji for the year ending 31 December 2024. It highlights the authority's continued commitment to ensuring a safe, secure, and efficient aviation system for Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, aviation in Fiji is more than a regulatory function. It is a lifeline to our economy, a driver of tourism, a facilitator of trade, and a critical pillar of national resilience. A safe, secure, and efficient aviation system underpins Fiji's connectivity to the world and our standing as a trusted destination. Fiji's effective implementation rating with the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, remains above global and regional averages, reflecting the strength of aviation safety oversight and our position as a leading performer amongst our small island developing states in the Pacific. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is also important to highlight that Fiji's aviation system continues to deliver strong safety outcomes. For the past several years, we have recorded no fatalities in aircraft accidents. This is a clear and powerful reflection of the strength of our aviation safety oversight framework. This record is not by chance. It speaks of the robustness of our regulatory systems and the consistency of oversight applied across the aviation sector. This is a strong foundation, but not our endpoints. Mr. Speaker, the 2024 financial year represents a transformational milestone for CAF, marking its 45th anniversary in a renewed organizational identity under the theme, Safe Skies, Safe, Secure Fiji. The authority continued to fulfill its statutory mandate under the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji Act 1979, ensuring the safety, security, and regulatory oversight of Fiji's aviation sector aligned with international standards set by ICAO. Mr. Speaker, sir, the review report highlights several significant achievements that reflect the continued progress and strengthening of CAF. Foremost among these is Fiji's growing regional leadership in aviation. The establishment of the ICAO Pacific Small Developing States Liaison Office in Nadi in 2023 represents far more than the opening of a physical office. It is a clear recognition of Fiji's credibility and leadership within the Pacific aviation community. This development positions our country as a regional hub for safety and security oversight, a center for training and technical cooperation, and a platform from which aviation standards across the region can be shaped. In an increasingly interconnected and competitive global environment, this significantly enhances Fiji's voice, influence, and strategic relevance. The Speaker said this progress is supported by strong governance and a firm commitment to accountability. The authority has maintained consistent clean audit outcomes and retained its ISO certification, underscoring its adherence to high standards and effective quality management systems. The level of discipline provides ongoing confidence in the authority's institutional integrity and operational reliability. In addition, CAF has delivered a strong financial performance during the past year under review. The authority recorded significant growth in income and a return to surplus, reflecting prudent fiscal management and the strengthening of its revenue streams. This financial stability is essential in supporting its regulatory mandate and future development. Mr. Speaker, sir, the authority has also made important strides in modernization through digital transformation efforts. Major improvements in information and communication technology, including the migration of cloud-based systems and the introduction of a modernized website, will enhance online services, improving efficiency, accessibility, and service delivery across the aviation sector. Furthermore, the authority continues to invest in its most valuable assets, its people. Workforce stability and capability have been strengthened through improved staff retention and sustained investment in training and professional development. This ensures that Fiji maintains a skilled and competent workforce capable of meeting and evolving demands of the aviation industry. Mr. Speaker, sir, the review report also highlights progress in strengthening Fiji's aviation legal and regulatory framework. Ongoing reforms are aimed at modernizing legislation, enhancing aviation security provisions, and aligning national regulations with international best practices. CAF continues to contribute to broader national policy frameworks, particularly in areas of security and disaster preparedness. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the review report affirms that the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji is a resilient and forward-looking regulator, playing a critical role in safeguarding Fiji's aviation system and supporting national development. I commend the motion to this House. Naka.
Thank the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Nga Walker. I now invite Honourable Fayez Koya.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, let me take this opportunity to thank the Committee on Social Affairs on the report on the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji 2024. Honourable Speaker, in short, I think a lot's been covered already, but in short, there are some key findings that the committee has come up with, and it's actually quite impressive to see that in terms of implementing what it needs to do with respect to safety, oversight, etc., CAF has effectively implemented about 76%, and I think it may be more at the moment of its obligations that it has under Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program, which the committee picked and rightfully pointed out. There are some other things, there are some challenges that CAF has that everybody needs to take notice of, especially with respect to us losing a lot of qualified staff. We have a great CEO there at the moment, Ms. Leviston, who's done a phenomenal job, but we need to ensure that we really put the thinking cap on with respect to how we can actually retain these greatly trained people that are sitting at CAF. It's a very funny kind of institution. It requires really highly qualified people to be sitting there, but our people are big targets when they come to being taken by other jurisdictions around, especially around the region. Honourable Speaker, there are issues that have come up, and I think one of the issues that they raised, but there is a property that was purchased by CAF in Wailoloa. It's still sitting idle. I'm not sure what's happened to it. We really need to know a little bit more about it. Wailoloa is a hotspot when it comes to tourism. Some of the recommendations that they've come up with are quite important for us to ponder on and for government to maybe think about. A larger portion of the departure tax going to CAF because of its operational expenses is something that I think the government actually needs to look at. And as I said about the package. Honourable Speaker, I think one of the major issues that is being dealt with currently is the legislation. I know the review is going on because effectively CAF is run by three different parts, moving parts, three legislation. One is the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji Act, 1979, the Air Navigation Regulations, the ANR, and also the Civil Aviation Security Act. I know the Minister and CAF have been hard at work trying to do the review, but it's best that it's done comprehensively and brought in line with our ICAO obligations and what we need to do to keep us a very safe destination with respect to air travel. To supplement also the Act and the regulations, I think there are some other issues that CAF deals with in terms of standard documents that they have, guidance documents, etc. For those people, all of those need to be upgraded. So they are in a space at the moment where a lot of upgrade is needed, but we need to retain the staff to actually do it. But all in all, Honourable Speaker, I think the CAF has done a phenomenal job, but we must not rush this legislation through. We must go through it with a fine-tooth comb because you're talking about air safety and making sure that we have the right laws in place, etc. CAF also has issues at the moment with respect to trying to, because it heavily regulates unmanned vehicles, and these are the things that we need to ensure that we get the regulations right. And I think these things were not actually picked, but the only issue that was picked was unregistered airdromes. It's not a big issue, it's a smaller issue, but it's something that needs to be corrected, and the laws need to be made with respect to making sure that they're all registered and properly done. And I commend the Minister and his hard-working team at CAF that have kept us up to speed and kept us safe with respect to the airspace around Fiji. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank the Honourable Koya. Minister for Lands, Honourable Wasserong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Tonight I rise to contribute to the review report of the 2024 annual report of the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji. It also provides us with an opportunity, Honourable Speaker, to reflect on where we stand in one of the most strategic sectors that we have in Fiji, and also to chart a worthy course of the challenges and the opportunity at CAF and for us as a country. So the 2024 report, Honourable Speaker, of the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji reveals a story of resilience and quiet professionalism. CAF delivered a strong financial turnaround from a loss of over 600,000 the previous year, recording a net surplus of 3.8 million, a very significant improvement from the previous year. Safety and regulatory performances remain robust with high compliance rates across airworthiness, flight operations, and personnel licensing. The authority successfully resolved multiple legal cases that were noted by the committee, enhanced its oversight over its operation, and continued to certify airdromes and service providers to international standards. These results, Mr. Speaker, are important for us because aviation is not merely transport. For small island developing state like Fiji, it is an economic lifeblood, national connectivity, and also a bridge of Fiji to the world. It supports over 50,000 jobs and contributes nearly 22% to our GDP when multiply effects are considered. And in 2024, Honourable Speaker, despite global turbulence, CAF helped keep our skies safe and our engine tourism running. The global aviation landscape, Mr. Speaker, is undergoing a very profound structural change. Geopolitical tension, supply chain fragility, rising fuel costs, and the accelerated climate crisis are not distant risks for us. They are present realities reshaping our operating environment. Fiji, Mr. Speaker, these forces are ever more magnified. We sit in the front line of climate change, more intense cyclones, rising seas, and volatile weather patterns that threaten both infrastructure as well as flight reliability. We also face, Mr. Speaker, the classic small island dilemma, a high dependence on imported fuel for our jets and tourism markets that can shift rapidly with global sentiments. This is the tragedy of the horizon that's playing out in the skies. Decisions we make or fail to make today, Mr. Speaker, will determine whether Fiji aviation sector becomes a source of enduring strength or growing vulnerability. So what we must do? Number one, we must embed long-term resilience into every layer of aviation governance, and the committee had picked up on that. Secondly, we must treat digital transformation and skills development as a national and company priority. Third, we must diversify. While tourism remains vital, we should position as we have as a more resilient Pacific hub, a Pacific aviation hub, supporting regional connectivity, emergency response, and even humanitarian logistics across our blue Pacific continent. Fourth, a strong institution. CAF has indeed, over the years, shown progress in sound financial management and good regulatory oversight. Fiji has natural resources, Mr. Speaker, geographical advantage and the human spirit, coupled with our Bula smile that can sustain Pacific aviation. But leadership requires deliberate choice to invest in safety, to price risk correctly, to align policies with the realities of a changing climate and a fragmenting global order. Let us ensure, with the recommendations from the committee, let us ensure here at Parliament that Fiji's aviation sector does not simply recover from shocks, but emerges stronger, cleaner, and more connected, carrying our people, improving our economy, and our Pacific values forward towards more confidence in the future.
I thank the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Rongo. That was the last of our contributions to the motion. I now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee noted the positive contribution made by honourable members during this debate on the review report on the 2024 Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji. Chair, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, the Chief Executive Officer, and the staff of Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji for their commitments, dedication, and unwavering support toward the successful operation of the aviation industry in Fiji. On that note, sir, I fully support the motion for our House. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank the Honourable Manawalo, the chairperson of the Standing Committee. Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. I now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Manawalo, to move his third motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that Parliament debates the review report on the 2025 Fiji National Provident Fund Annual Report. It was tabled on the 28th of April, 2026.
The seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable Pillay, I now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji National Provident Fund was established in 1966 under the pre-independent government and will be celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. The operations of the fund is guided by the FNPF Act 2011. The Fiji National Provident Fund is a defined contribution fund that provides superannuation services with members. Hence, FNPF is mandated by law to collect compulsory contribution from employees and employers towards the retirement saving of all its workers in Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FNPF is a major investor in Fiji. It is one of the country's largest property owners. The fund owned majority shares in Amalgamated Telecom Holding Pte Limited, Vodafone Fiji Limited, Home Finance Company Pte Limited, and fully own the Intercontinental Fiji Golf Resort and Spa, Natandola. By championship, the golf course, the Tule Resort and Spa at the Natandola Beach, Holiday Inn in Suva, Fiji Marriott Resort, Momi Bay, Sheraton Fiji Resort, West Inn Resort, Denarau Golf and Racquet Club, and the Grand Pacific Hotel. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee in its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that FNPF must continue to increase its revenue collection by exploring more investment opportunities. Secondly, the committee recommends that FNPF must continue to engage with the Reserve Bank of Fiji to increase offshore investment limits for better return of its members. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that FNPF must fast-track its processes in reviewing the FNPF Act to align with modern standards and business best practices. Further, the committee recommends that FNPF must prioritize employer training on its portal, ensuring accurate submission of information to members' accounts. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that FNPF, together with the aligned ministry, must provide a detailed report clearly outlining changes in their project cost and delay in the completion of Westin Hotel. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that FNPF, for its continued commitment towards members' welfare, financial sustainability, and contribution towards national development. The committee further entrusts that the recommendation outlined in the report will support the FNPF in achieving its objective by providing more efficient service to its members. On that note, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank the Honorable Manawalu, the chairperson of the Standing Committee. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me. Each of our speakers has 10 minutes to make his or her contribution. I first call on the Honorable Praveen Bala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to deliver a brief response to the 2025 National Provident Fund Annual Report. Let me begin with a statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, of fact and not politics. The FNPF is a 12.1 billion of Fijian workers' money. 436,860 members, nearly every employed Fijian. 35% of our financial system and 85% of our GDP in balance sheet terms. Mr. Speaker, sir, when the FNPF succeeds, a nurse in Lambasa retires with dignity. A taxi driver in Nasori leaves a home for his children. A seasonal worker's savings outlive inflation. When the FNPF fails, Mr. Speaker, say, the entire country feels it. So today, I will speak plainly. I will acknowledge the fund's genuine achievements, and I will also name the governance failures in this report. Mr. Speaker, say part one. What works and why it matters for the members and Fiji. Revenue grew from 909 million to 1.1 billion. Dividend income rose from 148.8 million to 190.4 million. Mr. Speaker, say, the committee found 3 clusters of concern. First, offshore investment restrictions, finding 3.4. The fund's offshore portfolio grew to 1.1 billion. But Mr. Speaker said the Reserve Bank approved only 100 million to be transferred overseas. The CEO confirmed this as a challenge every year for them. Impact, Mr. Speaker, said the members lose diversification. The BSP PNG investment pays Australian dollars dividends, strong returns, but the fund cannot increase its stake. It is forced to keep 91% of its assets in Fiji, a small cyclone-prone economy. That concentration is a long-term risk, Mr. Speaker. Second, suspense account, finding 3.7. Unidentified contribution fell from 15.5 million to 4.3 million. Progress, but 4.3 million is still trapped. That is thousands of workers whose money never reached their account, Mr. Speaker. Impact, Mr. Speaker, sir. Every dollar in suspense is a family's lost medical treatment, a child's delayed school fee, a retirement shortfall. Trust erodes when workers ask, where is my money? Third, Mr. Speaker, say, Westin hotel delays and cost, finding 3.8. The committee was assured, Mr. Speaker, say, of the completion by April 2026. But the report reveals a troubling gap, Mr. Speaker, sir. I asked the management in the committee meeting, what was the initial cost? And I did mention to them, because I recall at one point in time it was mentioned it was around $90 million. But the answer from the management was that it was not correct. But now, Mr. Speaker, said, the last time that we were told the cost has increased to 230 million. That is 156 increase, Mr. Speaker, said, from the original public figure. And I really don't know what would be the cost of to date. And a fiberglass swimming pool, Mr. Speaker, said, was purchased. It might not be used. The CEO could not answer on the day. Impact on that, Mr. Speaker, says delayed revenue from the hotel means delayed dividends to the members. Cost overruns reduce overall returns. And the lack of transparency damages public confidence, Mr. Speaker, sir. Part 3. The board appointments, Mr. Speaker, sir, and the West End owning signs. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me speak directly about governance. The FNPF board is appointed by the Minister for Finance under the FNPF Act. The minister chooses a chairperson and up to 6 other members. And most of us, Mr. Speaker, say we are aware that in recent days we have heard one of the board members had been removed. We also hear, Mr. Speaker, say that there is a lot of differences between the board members and the management level. Mr. Speaker, say it is a serious issue, and I request the line minister to address this. Look at the West End project, Mr. Speaker, say 3 warning signs that would trigger the immediate actions elsewhere. I'm also reliably told that within the shortest period of time, 3 to 4 project managers have been changed. What is going on? I mean, what's wrong?
Point of order.
You want to know?
There's various point of orders here which are relevant. 60, paragraph 1, speech must be relevant. 61, member must not impute improper motives. So these are the shenanigans going on. We are going on to 11 p.m. It brings up issues which are totally unrelated to the report. Just focus on the recommendations. You started off well and then deteriorated. Thank you.
Honorable Bala, can you keep to your original?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm very much within the report that is in front of us. Warning 3, Mr. Speaker, sir, the completion date has slipped multiple times. The board assured the committee of April 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are now in late May 2026. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thought the completion time was April 2027, so I had to go back and recheck. So when I checked the verbatim, it says April 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are not calling for heads to roll today. We are calling for answers, audits, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, sir, overall, why does Reserve Bank of Fiji cap FNPF's annual offshore investment transfer at only 100 million, when the fund has demonstrated superior returns from offshore assets, including BSP, PNG dividends paid in Australian dollars, and when 91% of the portfolio remains domestic, well within prudent diversification limits. Mr. Speaker, sir, we all are not here to destroy the FNPF. We are here to protect it from itself. The fund is too big to fail. It holds the life savings of every Fijian who works for a wage. So we say, celebrate 1.1 billion revenue, celebrate the 8.75% interest, but do not celebrate the Westin cost overrun. Do not celebrate the suspense account. Mr. Speaker said, may I also ask the line minister that what was the exact approved budget for the Westin renovation at the time of the board's final investment decision, and what is the total actual expenditure to date, broken down by pays, contractor payments, variation orders, and any written off assets, including the unused swimming pool. Our stance is simple. If I was wrong in doing that swimming pool, honorable member, take me to court. Don't just shout here for nothing. You're not the speaker. Our stance is simple, Mr. Speaker said. We support the fund's success. We question the board's transparency. We demand accountability for the Westin project. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity.
Thank Honorable Bala. I'll invite Honorable Sachidanand for his contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the motion on the review of the 2025 annual report of Fiji National Provident Fund. At the outset, I wish to congratulate or acknowledge the chairperson, the members of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs for the work undertaken in scrutinizing this report and engaging extensively with the officials of FNPF. I also acknowledge the Chief Executive Officer and the measurement team of FNPF for their transparency and willingness to provide detailed responses during the public consultations and committee hearings. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji National Provident Fund remains one of the most important institutions in our country. It is not merely a retirement fund. It is a pillar of national development, economic resilience, and social security for the people of Fiji. The report highlights that FNPF now serves more than 436,000 members with total assets reaching approximately $12.1 billion and members' funds standing at $9.5 billion. These are significant figures because they reflect the trust that ordinary Fijians place in the fund to safeguard their future. Every worker, every employer contribution, and every investment decision carry with it the hopes of families throughout our beloved nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most major achievements noted in the report is the fund's strong financial performance during the 2025 financial year. The committee highlighted that the revenue collection increased to approximately $1.1 billion compared to $909 million in 2024, driven by a diversified investment. This growth demonstrates prudent financial management, disciplined investment strategies, and commitment to long-term sustainability. I also commend the fund for maintaining operational expenditure at around $63 million despite increasing services demands and surging prices. This shows responsible governance and effective cost management practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, I particularly welcome the fund's strategic investment in key areas of our economy. These include tourism, telecommunication, banking, healthcare, infrastructure, and offshore investment portfolios. The report clearly outlines investment in BSP PNG, the S&P 500 Exchange Trade Fund, Martin Courier funds, and other international portfolios. These investments are important because diversification strengthens the fund's resilience and creates better returns for the members over the long term. At the same time, domestic investment continues to stimulate employment, business growth, and economic activity within Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, The committee also recognized major milestone projects undertaken by FNPF, including partnership with Google for ICT facility in Natandola, strategic tourist development and investment in healthcare infrastructure. These initiatives are helping position Fiji as a regional hub in technology, services, and tourism. Mr. Speaker, sir, I see these investments are well aligned with our government's broader vision of creating a modern, diversified, and resilient economy. Investment in infrastructure and innovation creates opportunities not only for businesses, but also for our young people, entrepreneurs, and future generations. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight the importance of funds support for sustainable development goals. The report outlines contribution towards good health, quality education, decent work, innovation, and strong institutions. The partial withdrawal assistance for education and for medical purposes has assisted many Fijian families during difficult times. Likewise, the voluntary membership initiatives targeting farmers, domestic workers, and informal sector workers are commendable steps towards financial inclusion. Mr. Speaker, sir, while the report recognizes many achievements, it also identifies important challenges and recommendations that deserve close attention. The committee raised concerns regarding delays in the review of FNPF Act. As lawmakers and custodians of public trust, we must ensure that legislation governing such an important institution remains modern, responsive, and aligned with the evolving economic realities. The world is changing rapidly. Digital finance, offshore investment, mechanization, labor mobility, retirement expectations are all evolving. Therefore, the review of FNPF Act must be taken into consideration with urgency to ensure a fund continues to operate efficiently and transparently while protecting the interests of its members. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee highlighted concerns relating to suspense accounts and the importance of accurate employer submissions. These issues directly affect workers because any delay or errors in contribution can impact retirement savings and benefits. I therefore support the recommendation for enhanced employer training, improved digital systems to ensure accurate and timely submissions. Accountability and transparency must remain at the center of FNPF operations. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, sir, the issue of offshore investment limitations raised by FNPF deserves consideration. The fund indicated that while opportunities exist overseas, transfers remain subject to Reserve Bank approvals. While safeguarding foreign reserves is important, there must be a balanced approach and dialogue between FNPF and relevant authorities as imperative is this regards. This is to ensure members continue to receive strong and sustainable returns. The committee recommendations encouraging continued engagement with Reserve Bank is therefore appropriate and necessary. Mr. Speaker, sir, another important issue raised during the consultation relates to seasonal workers in Australia and New Zealand. The committee acknowledged ongoing efforts to engage seasonal workers and facilitate direct contribution systems under overseas employment schemes. This is an important initiative because many Fijians working overseas wish to continue to contribute towards their retirement security back home. I encourage FNPF to continue strengthening its partnership and awareness programs so that overseas workers can fully benefit from the membership opportunities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also wish to commend the efforts to expand voluntary membership among school children, farmers, informal workers, and rural communities. Financial literacy, savings, and investment culture must begin early, encouraging young people and communities to participate in long-term savings schemes is a positive step towards reducing financial and economic vulnerabilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to emphasize that strong governance, accountability, and fairness must remain central to the operation of FNPF. The retirement savings of workers are not merely financial figures, they represent dignity, security, and right of every hardworking Fijian. Therefore, transparency in investment, proper due diligence, responsible governance, and timely reporting are essential in maintaining public confidence in the institution. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, I commend the Standing Committee on Social Affairs for its comprehensive review and recommendations. I also commend FNPF for its continued contribution towards the nation's development, economic growth, and member welfare. The fund has demonstrated resilience, strong financial management, and strategic vision. However, there remains important work ahead in strengthening legislation, improving member services, increasing awareness, and ensuring long-term sustainability. I support the motion before Parliament, and I urge all stakeholders to continue working together to safeguard the future of Fijian workers and strengthen confidence in our economies, our nation's most important institutions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion.
I thank the Honorable Suchinda Nand. I call on the Honorable Pramila Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity to speak on this motion, and I would like to thank Standing Committee on Social Affairs for this report. At the outset, let me state that we acknowledge the FNPF's strong financial performance during the reporting period, which resulted from the reform undertaken in 2011. Revenue exceeding 1.1 billion and 8.75% interest rate is the highest in more than 30 years, and total assets of over 10 billion are significant achievement. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, strong fund performance is not the same as strong member outcomes. And that distinction is the heart of the concerns I wish to raise today. Is FNPF still fit for purpose as a national retirement institution for ordinary Fijians? On that question, there are serious issues that this House must confront honestly. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite the FNPF's strong financial position, 72% of members have less than 20,000 in their accounts, while nearly 45% of members have balances below 5,000. Even more alarming is that thousands of members over the age of 55 who should be preparing for retirement have less than 5,000 in their FNPF account, with some even having zero or negative balances. Mr. Speaker, sir, how does FNPF, generating over 1 billion in income and managing 10.6 billion in total assets, leave nearly half of its members financially unprepared for retirement with less than 5,000 in savings? This tells us that strong investment performance alone does not guarantee retirement security. We believe this is a structural issue caused by years of premature withdrawals and inadequate long-term retirement planning. Unless we address these root causes, FNPF may remain financially strong while members themselves remain financially vulnerable. Mr. Speaker said there is also a transparency issue that Parliament should not ignore. The pension take-up rate, one of the most important indicators of whether members are choosing retirement pensions or withdrawing lump sums, is not clearly reported. Parliament and members have a right to know whether some retirees are exhausting their savings early and increasing the exposure to poverty in old age and becoming a burden to families and the state. FNPF must restore full reporting on pension take-up rates and clear public disclosure on retirement adequacy trends in all future annual reports. Mr. Speaker, sir, another serious issue is the employer non-compliance, and we have heard from other members. The report shows that unpaid employer contribution increased from 12.5 million to 14.6 million in just more than 1 year, despite a second amnesty recently announced by FNPF. So we must ask, did the first amnesty improve compliance, or did it simply encourage employers to delay payments in the hope that another amnesty would come. Why are repeat offenders continually being given leniency while compliant employers receive no reward? Mr. Speaker, sir, workers' FNPF contributions are deferred wages belonging to workers. When employers fail to remit them on time, are they not effectively using workers' retirement savings as free business capital? And if unpaid contributions continue to rise even after repeated amnesties, does this not show that the current enforcement framework lacks real deterrence? The review of the FNPF Act must ask some tough questions. Should directors be personally liable for repeated breaches? Should chronic defaulters be publicly named? And should future amnesties be strictly limited to protect the integrity of workers' savings? Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee's report noted with appropriate concern that FNPF's offshore portfolio grew by 1.1 billion, a 31.8% increase, yet the Reserve Bank of Fiji approved only 100 million in additional offshore transfers during the year. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a structural constraint that Parliament must take seriously. We are concerned about the concentration of FNPF investment within Fiji's domestic economy, particularly in tourism-related assets. Mr. Speaker, sir, FNPF members should not have their retirement future overly dependent on one sector after what we experienced during COVID-19. And even during several severe cyclones that came our way. We asked the Minister to engage with the Reserve Bank in a structured policy dialogue, not to circumvent monetary sovereignty, but to develop a transparent rule-based framework for FNPF offshore investment that balances macroeconomic stability and member protection. Mr. Speaker, sir, one finding in the annual report that the committee did not sufficiently interrogate concerns the commercial lending portfolio. This portfolio grew 13.1% to 1.4 billion in the financial year 2025. Yet income from lending rose only marginally from 65.3 million to 67.3 million. This is a significant margin compression signal. A 13% growth in a lending portfolio producing only 3% income increases suggests that the fund is deploying more capital for diminishing marginal returns. We seek clarity from the board on the risk-adjusted return profile of this portfolio and whether its current strategic weight is appropriate given the competitive dynamics the FNPF itself acknowledges. Mr. Speaker, sir, another worrying issue raised in the report is the increasing number of migration withdrawals, which exceeded 82 million in financial year 2025. Every migration withdrawal means not only a loss of savings from the fund, but also the loss of future contributors to the retirement system. FNPF must remain first and foremost a social protection institution designed to ensure dignity and security of workers in retirement. Mr. Speaker, sir, to make FNPF truly fit for purpose, we believe several reforms are necessary. An independent actuarial assessment of what constitutes adequate retirement savings in Fiji's current cost of living environment. Stronger employer compliance enforcement, greater offshore diversification to reduce domestic risk, full transparency on pension trends and member retirement outcomes. Mr. Speaker, sir, the true measure of FNPF's success is not only how much income it earns, but whether ordinary workers can retire with dignity after decades of contribution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank the Honorable Kumar. I'll call next on the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the committee for the report. I do not want to repeat all the statistics that have been provided already by honorable members who've spoken before me. Unlike Honorable Bala, who says things without sometimes understanding the real consequences of how and what FNPF offshore investment would mean. I think Honorable Kumar highlighted a number of real issues, and they make a lot of sense. Whether you talk about retirement institution, whether you talk about pension take-up, whether you talk about what the members are getting at the end of the day. But let me just remind her, I think she started by saying that the FNPF's strong performance today is a result of the reform that was undertaken unilaterally in 2011. In fact, Mr. Speaker, say that reform, that unilateral decision, and she mentioned why we need another actuarial study to determine, the aspects of retirement and whether it is making sense. But the fact that there was a unilateral decision taken in 2011 to reduce the pension rate, there may have been actuarial studies which would have pointed out, Mr. Speaker, say, risks and what might have happened in the future. But the way in which that was done sent a very, very bad signal to the members themselves. So whether you talk about those who wanted to withdraw when they were leaving the country, whether you want to talk about those who chose to withdraw lump sum as opposed to going on a pension, rests on what happened in 2011, because there was this sudden change from 15% to a reduced rate, and those with lower balances would find that going on pension with a very, very, in fact, the previous government had already decided, in fact, the FNPF management had decided to reduce the pension rate further. It was when we came into government, we said no. And government actually gave a commitment that government borrowing will keep the interest rate at that level so that the FNPF could continue to keep that higher pension rate. But by then, Mr. Speaker, said the rate of pension for members was not lucrative at all. And many of them felt that they would need to withdraw a lump sum, and obviously many of them were looking for alternative investments. We heard that FNPF has had strong performance, financial performance, and obviously the members received the highest interest payment of 8.75% for the first time in 30 years. And that, I think, came on the backdrop of a strong financial performance and the ability of the FNPF to pay that high interest rate. The member contributions, Mr. Speaker, say, continue to increase significantly, and obviously that reflected, stronger employment conditions and higher contribution activity, and that is partly the result of a good growth in the economy in the last 3 years, and more particularly in 2024 and 2025. And the issue about, of course, Mr. Speaker said the FNPF needs to continue to look at how it can improve member services, member benefits, and one of the things that we've been asking FNPF to do is to look at whether we could have a national health insurance scheme. FNPF was landed with the Aspen Bar and Lutoka Hospital. They have a management portfolio there. There is an investment that FNPF did, and we supported FNPF to relook at how they could refine some of the agreements that they had and whether that could be used as a future, healthcare provision based on some kind of insurance as well. So, Mr. Speaker said the point that Honorable Bala was raising, I think he doesn't understand the inherent risk of offshore investment, and there are issues with respect to, and I think the Reserve Bank has taken a very prudent approach, in terms of restricting or taking a much more cautious look at offshore investment, because the market offshore is not as lucrative, because there are a lot of competitive investors, not only from Fiji but all around the world in offshore investments, and so it is very important that the Reserve Bank, which has a supervisory role for the FNPF, takes that prudent approach, because the last thing you want to do is some overzealous management or board looking at an easier option of offshore investment and hoping that there will be a lot of returns from that. In the last 2-3 years, the FNPF has also introduced some very good reforms, reduced membership entry age to birth. A lot of families are using that as an opportunity to improve savings from a very, very early age, improved housing withdrawal policies. They've rolled out, customer relationship systems, expanded retirement literacy and overseas member engagement, and we've also allowed members to join twice. If they have withdrawn fully, they could rejoin. The age has been extended to 59, Mr. Speaker said. And finally, just to let Honorable Bala know, he was talking about some board appointments, but he knows very well the kind of people who were appointed in the board. There was one board member who was a campaign manager, finance director of the Fiji First Party. We have appointed some of the best qualified board members on FNPF, and that's another issue. Westin was bought by FNPF in 2017 under the Fiji First government, and there are various issues, and I think it will come out very soon as to what happened then and the impact of what you're seeing now. You don't know the full story. So don't come here and exaggerate and pontificate about what was done right. Mr. Speaker said the FNPF is in a very, very strong position, and I agree with Honorable Kumar that there are areas where they need to look at how to make it a much more friendly retirement institution as well for our members, and additional member services like health insurance, health facilities, and other support that could be provided for ordinary members whose balances are very, very low. I want to commend the board and the management of FNPF for producing such a healthy and very satisfying, financial situation for the FNPF. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Professor Prasad. soon as Honorable Bala enters the room, the energy rises in the...
Honorable Speaker,
Yes, Honorable...
point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My point of order is under 29A subsection 2 of the standing orders. 29A.
9A,
sub 2.
yes.
A member must not make any social media posting or media releases in relation to any parliamentary business during the sitting of Parliament or any parliamentary committee. Honorable Speaker, it's been brought to our attention that the Honorable Member, Honorable Pramila Kumar, has posted about the education bill on her Facebook page while we are still seated in session. And that is disallowed under 29A subsection 2, Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you. Honorable Kumar, do you plead guilty?
Absolutely, sir. I didn't know about that.
Well, can you then...
I seriously didn't know.
Right. Then you are not familiar with the provision. Right.
Honorable Speaker,
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I might argue against that because this was the very same standing order that in the previous session when I was in opposition and Honorable Kumar was in chambers, when the former Honorable Attorney General Ayaz Saad Qayyum made a point of order in the exact section about not allowing posts during sessions while we're seated on the parliamentary business, Honorable Speaker. And so they are very familiar because they brought this standing order, they brought this amendment and brought it into the standing orders during their time. It was an amendment in the last sitting, last session of Parliament. And Honorable Speaker, the post by Honorable Pramila Kumar states, education bill passed in Parliament, schools can now introduce school levies. So, Honorable Speaker, that's what has been posted, and she should be pulled up under Standing Order 74 for disorderly conduct, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kumar, what do you...
Sir, I can only apologize. I've pleaded guilty, and I do apologize.
Honorable Tambuya, is that...
Honorable Speaker, I believe it's important that we set this precedent and for you to take some time to make your ruling because it is important because it's now gone viral and it's got 80 shares already. And the way that it is being posted, Honorable Speaker, schools can now introduce school levies. Just picking on that from that particular whole act that was brought before Parliament, clearly this is, for lack of a better word, campaigning. Yes, it started today, but this is what is stated here, Honorable Speaker, and being shared with comments attacking government, once again on digging into the pockets of taxpayers, taken out of context, Honorable Speaker, so, right. and misleading. And so this needs to be looked at, Honorable Speaker, and the purpose of it. But again, during sitting, Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Tambuya, I will take that into account. I will give my ruling later after I've taken all those evidence which you are trying to present before me, right? So we leave it as it is. We have heard from Honorable Kumar on the issue. Let me do my own thing tomorrow, right? Thank you. Right? We will, thank you, Honorable Tambuya. We will now move on to the last speaker, Honorable Fayaz Koya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was just starting to smile, sir, with Honorable Bala and Honorable Professor Biman Prasad's exchange. But let me, I want to first of all thank the committee for its report. And they've actually pointed out some very pertinent things with respect to the 2025 Fiji National Provident Fund annual report. Honorable Speaker, I think these committee reports are actually very important, and as you can see from the discussions that we've had, there are quite a number of issues that have actually come up. With regards to the FNPF, I think successive governments that have come in and left, etc., have gone through different measures in terms of their policies. etc. I don't think we should stand here and pontificate about somebody being at fault or not. Because right now, as we stand, that very same FNPF is worth billions of dollars. And, you know, they might have had their ups and downs, but I don't think we should go into a finger-pointing exercise. Rather than that, maybe we ought to say thank you to the father of the FNPF, the late A.D. Patel, who was the founder member of the National Federation Party. Without his idea, this FNPF wouldn't be around. And for all of those people that made the FNPF grow till today. Now, successive governments had made it successful. Our working population has made it successful. 99.9% of the investments that it's made, Honorable Speaker, have proved correct. It is a massive property owner. It is the biggest property owner in terms of tourism in general. And if you just look at what the committee pointed out in terms of the milestone achievement, its revenue collection of $1.1 billion at 30th of June 2025 compared to 900 in 2024 is actually a phenomenal achievement. It's not just an achievement from now, it's an achievement from many, many moons ago in how it actually started. As I said, the investments in BSP that was pointed out, ATH, HFC, hotels, even offshore investments. And I agree somewhat with Honorable Biman Prasad with respect to offshore investments being very risky. And I think we also need to be respectful to the Reserve Bank, who might sometimes put a stunt on what somebody might consider a little bit of growth. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that we get the best returns for those that are part of FNPF, those, the actual nurse, the farmer, whoever it is that actually contributes to it. Whilst doing all of this, I think FNPF maintains its operational expenditure at a pretty reasonable level, and considering there's an increased service demand and inflationary pressures, etc. Now, Honourable Speaker, one of the glaring issues that we all need to face up to, and this is not poppycock at the end of the day, is that if you are an investment company and you have a $200+ million blowout with respect to an investment that you've made, this is cause for some serious concern. Honourable Speaker, on a previous occasion in Parliament, I recall I had asked the Minister of Finance regarding this issue with respect to the Westin. The Westin is an iconic property that was bought some time ago. I think Professor Prasad, Honorable Prasad said 2011 or something like that. 2017 was bought. But the problem here, and this problem was raised by me then, is that FNPF bought it. FNPF then engaged Fletcher Construction to do the construction. And FNPF itself owned 25% of the construction company. Just that conflict arose, that rises, ought to have reddened people's ears, ought to have at least started an inquiry of sorts, especially in light of the fact that there's such a huge conflict, ethical conflict that exists. I don't need to explain it to you, Honourable Speaker, you would know this better than most people about the ethical conduct that needs to come out of people that are in charge of investment funds. Are you actually going to sue your own company? And I hear also, subject to correction by someone in this house, maybe, sir, that now that very same construction company is 100% owned by two Fijian institutions. One happens to be the FNPF, the other happens to be Fijian Holdings. So now you have an entirely local company, which is now 50% owned by FNPF, yet the project is still not complete. You have a $200 and something plus million contractual blowout. Now you tell me, sir, if you took it away from FNPF and you put that in a private investment company and you had a blowout of that magnitude,
what would you be doing? Would you not be in court? Would you not be suing? Would you not be firing? Would you not have a massive inquiry as to why we are in that particular position? This is one of the largest investment companies in Fiji, investment bodies in Fiji. This is not your money, my money, this is our money. All of those people that have invested in it. It's not just $2. And we can't be flippant with the answers when those questions are actually raised in this particular parliament. I remember the question that I asked was that the conflict rose and there's a potential that you're going to end up suing your own company. And the minister responsible then said, oh no, that's a new question, and described the dispute as a family matter that was going to be resolved within the family. Sir, you can't be flippant. You can't be flippant with $200+ odd million. Who's going to compensate the actual owners of FNPF, the nurses, the carpenters, the poor workers who are all owners of the FNPF? Who's going to compensate for the delays? Every single delay on a construction site has a penalty on it. Does that mean the FNPF is going to pay itself now? What's going to happen? These are the conflicts that arise. Now, my point, Honorable Speaker, here is that this is the kind of stuff that means that we need to ask the questions. We need to, in a bipartisan fashion, just like we did with the council inquiries, Housing Authority inquiry. Just like we did with the Housing Authority inquiry. When there was an issue, there is a committee conducting that inquiry. Why is it that we can't do that now? This is a $200+ million blowout. This is not some small funds. This is not some small funds. You know, there's a gap of about $140 million. If a $90 million project costs, and then it more than almost doubles, goes to 180, but 200+ means it's over double. Who did this? Who sanctioned it? Who signed off on it? Who actually allowed FNPF's own company to start the construction on its own project? How did that happen? There's a legal question that arises here, Honorable Speaker. This is a question that we will all get asked when we go outside this house. Did you ask the right questions? Or were we being flippant in our answers to it and just fobbing it aside? Honorable Speaker, these are the things that the scenario that's been created is actually quite absurd. And the legal eagles that exist in FNPF and within this particular house need to sit up and take notice. Because this is not something small. This will mean there's some kind of abuse that's gone on, something has gone on, and something is not actually correct. We are talking about 400,000 odd Fijians' pension funds, their retirement and their security. So this is something that needs to, and I urge, and I thank the committee for raising this particular issue, and I urge this House, or I urge the committee to instigate an inquiry into this matter to find out exactly what happened. And it is important that we do, because we are the representatives of the people, because we are the ones that are answerable, because we will be answerable when the election comes up, because they'll ask you, what happened to that $200 million extra blowout out of FNPF on one particular project? Honorable Speaker, this is as I said, this is the largest property owner on Dennerau. But something's not right. Something is amiss. The question that we must all ask is, who approved it? How was that extra $140 million approved? Now, all of these questions still remain to date unanswered. Will the conflicts actually managed by the fund? Why is the fund so silent? There is a deathly silence from the board with respect to all of this. Now, I urge everybody to ponder this. This is a responsibility that belongs to us.
This is a responsibility that we must undertake as parliamentarians to conduct a proper inquiry into this matter, to find out what went wrong. And also, lastly, sir, I know there's a review going on with respect to the FNPF laws. I urge the honourable ministers that are involved in the review to do that in a swift manner to try and ensure that this never, ever happens again. Because I fear the deathly silence from FNPF and the deathly silence on this particular matter means that there's something that has brewed in there and it's basically got a cap on it and nobody wants to touch it. With those few words, I thank the committee for its report, and I thank the committee for coming up with those particular recommendations and being forthright about where we are with the FNPF. And thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Koya, who was the final contributor to the motion. I will now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee, Honourable Vanawalu, to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The committee noted all the positive contribution made by the honourable members during the debate on this review report on the 2025 Fiji National Provident Fund Annual Report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, the Chief Executive Officer, and the staff of FNPF for their commitment, dedication, and unwavering support towards the member fund and its administration. On that note, sir, I fully support the motion before the House, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? No member opposes. The motion is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of our sitting today. I thank you all for your presence and your contribution. It has been a very long day. Some of us, including the chair, have stumbled and fumbled our way through the later part of today. So we all deserve a good rest. So rest well with what is left of the night, and see you all tomorrow. Parliament stands adjourned to tomorrow at 9:30.